passing between two radar sites, so there is a little bit of a gap there. So we're not going to have the best view of it, and that goes for everyone who is using radar. So all the news stations as well as the National Weather Service. We'll of course continue to keep you updated though, so that you can be safe. The best thing that you can do is go to your safe place, respect the polygon. Now, your safe place in your home, we just went over that. Lowest level of the building with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you're at school or work, make sure that you are following the safety protocol for your school or workplace. A lot of times that safety protocol is if you go into a bathroom as well, and putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are at home, don't forget to put your shoes on before you go to your safe place. That way, in case there is destruction, your feet will be safe when you are exiting. All right, I'm checking to see the National Weather Service. They are updating us. The Newton County supercell will be moving into Sabine County shortly, and it will impact portions of the Toledo Bend Lake. The current center of rotation is set to track just west of the dam. That's the National Weather Service. Now, I'm not saying as organized rotation, but again, we are passing through that little radar hole there, that gap. Now, we are still getting good sight on it, but you want to make sure that you are staying in your safe place. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a few of our other products to see if we can get a better eye on it. Now, we have been seeing estimates from the National Weather Service of hail around the size of a ½ an inch, maybe up to 3/4 of an inch there in diameter. According to our radar estimates, that's coming down between marble to nickel-sized hail, where we're seeing that center of rotation, where that cloud is on your screen. That is where that center of rotation is. So you want to make sure you're in your safe place in South Toledo Bend, out toward Fairdale, and anywhere along the lake there. So hail, gusty winds, flying debris, make sure that you are under cover. Again, let's go ahead and check that rotation. Let me turn our Titan indicators off so we can get a better idea of it. Okay, yeah, it's heading towards South Toledo Bend, Fairdale. Let's go ahead and switch over to our correlation coefficient. This is how we can track to see if there's anything lofted in the air. So it's our debris tracker. Essentially, we're looking for anything that is not meteorological in nature. So not hail, not wind, not rain, something that will have been thrown up due to gusty winds or to a tornado. What we're seeing, where there are reds and greens and blues kind of in this box, there is likely something that's getting lofted up in the air, but due to that little gap in the radar, it is hard to see. So just make sure you are staying in your safe place. Let's throw another track on this. That way we can get an update of what's happening here. Again, it's supposed to be moving up to the north at about 30 miles per hour, according to what the National Weather Service is saying. See how it just switched back and forth? That's that gap that I'm talking about. All right, we're going to go ahead and push this up. It's moving at about 30 miles per hour, which is right there. Alrighty, so you can find your city up on the north, or I should say the top left-hand corner of your screen. Fairdale, that is set to make it to you closer to 12:30. Out toward Clare, about 12:15. Esto, that is set to hit you closer to 1 o'clock. So you want to make sure you are staying in your safe place for as long as we have this tornado warning in effect. Once again, this is for parts of Sabine County. We will be staying on with you as long as there is a tornado warning that is active in Sabine County. Right now, that's set to expire at 12:45. So we'll go ahead and send you back to normal programming at that point. But we want to make sure that you guys are safe. Now I'm going to take a wider look here. That way we can see what's going on for all of East Texas as well. Let me go ahead and turn this layer back on so we can keep an eye on the tornado warning. That is the only warning that we have in our area. Everything else is just coming through as rain. So heavy rain if you're outside in Nacogdoches at the moment. I was watching it on our tower camera a little bit ago. It's coming down there. Same out toward Garrison, Dotson, Carthage. Heavy rain out there. Not a ton of lightning for areas out toward Nacogdoches or even Jefferson, Linden, or Mount Pleasant. There's just rain there. But what we are seeing is out to the south, lightning is building, and that's where we're seeing the rotation as the storm system passes across the county line. Now let's go ahead and check where that center of rotation is, because that's where, if there's a tornado, that's where it will be touching down. Now this is all radar indicated, so no one has actually gotten eyes on it, but given the radar signature that we've been seeing, it's very, very likely that there is some sort of tornado or rotation there. And that's just due to the green and the red. All right, you're going to see right here, it's going to be hard for us to get eyes on it as it crosses the county line out toward Fairdale, South Toledo Bend. Once again, the National Weather Service said that the center of rotation is likely to track just to the west of the dam there. So make sure that you are staying weather aware, staying in your safe place out toward Fairdale. Now, between the time that it takes for the radio or the broadcast waves to make it from our system to your TV or to your smart device, that could be up to 7 minutes. So that could be a 7-minute delay. Now, that's not for everyone, but that's on the high end. Make sure that you are allotting for that and giving yourself as much leeway as you can to get to your safe place. You'll need to make sure that you are staying safe. Now that center of rotation is beginning to cross the state line, or I should say the county line, I apologize there. And it's headed out toward Fairdale. The center of rotation right now out toward Hickory Ridge. It does appear that it's heading out to, let me see if I can get the name of some of these streets there. Out toward Mount Sinai Road, I believe, Old FM 3315 toward Fairdale Road, Beechwood Loop, I believe is what that says. So that's where we're seeing that center of rotation. So Hickory Ridge area out toward Fairdale and just to the east of Fairmont. Remember, if you are under the polygon, you have to make sure you are in your safe place. All right, now you just saw it switch between the green and the red. That's nothing to worry about. We're just pulling off of a different radar site. All right, I'm getting word in from the National Weather Service. We just got a tornado watch that was issued for several of our southeastern counties. Let me go ahead and look at this and pull it up for you. That way we can see what's happening. I'm going to turn the tornado warning off just a sec. It's still in effect, but just make sure that you are staying in your safe place at that time. All right. The tornado watch is in effect for Liberty and Polk counties through 7 p.m. Same for Jasper, Newton, Orange, and Tyler counties. So that does appear that it's just to our south. Let's switch back over to our tornado warning. Remember, a watch means that it is likely to happen in the near future. A warning means that it's happening as we speak. And that's why that warning is in effect for areas out to our southeast toward Sabine and toward Newton counties. Again, you want to make sure you're in your safe place. We have seen some hail coming out of this as well, so, or at least our radar is picking up on some hail, so you'll want to stay inside, not only for the flying debris, but for the hail. Gusty winds with this as well. Now, it's just this area that we're tracking all of that energy and that storm. What it's picking up on is what's known as CAPE. It's thunderstorm energy. So all of the bright colors that you're seeing on your screen is where we're seeing the bulk of that thunderstorm energy. And it's out towards Sabine County and all the way down through southeast Texas and along the Gulf Coast. So if you live out there, this is where we are tracking the bulk of that energy. All these little storms that are going to move up are going to feed off of that energy. That means that it's likely that we could see a few more spin-ups in this area. So make sure you're staying weather aware. Now, this is where the National Weather Service did issue that level 1 risk of severe weather. So that is likely paying off, or I should say verifying. Let me go ahead and switch back over to our reflectivity there. There are several thunderstorms that are just out to our south. And there's a chance that those end up kicking up some hail, and we'll get some gusty winds out of that as well. That's just to our south, toward Jasper, toward Spurger, all the way out toward Beaumont. Now we are seeing, oh yeah, those are definitely bubbling up and kicking up some hail. You can tell by the way that they're shaped, how they're small and almost bubble and dimple-like. That's going to kick up some hail for sure. Alrighty, let's go back over to that tornado warning. This is out toward Sabine County. If you're just joining us, tornado warning is in effect for parts of Sabine County. That's just to the east of Yellow Pine, stretching up to the east of the Hemp Hill area and out across the state line. That's all due to a bit of rotation that we're seeing. It's hard to get an eye on it right now just due to the location that it is, because the radar beam is shooting so high in the sky. There's a little bit of a gap there that's hard to see. But we are still seeing some decent rotation. So that's going to be where the red and the green meet. So right now, just to the south of Old FM 3315 is where we're seeing that rotation really be centered. The National Weather Service once again said that they expect this to track just to the west of the dam. So make sure that you are staying in your safe place until this passes you by. Again, gusty winds, hail, this can pick up some debris, and you definitely don't want to be out in that. Now, we have been seeing a lot of lightning out of this storm system. Let me go ahead and see if I can put our lightning back on this. That way we can get a check, because we have seen it just really have an uptick in that lightning activity, which means that it's strengthening. So let me go ahead and get a count on that for you. This is just for the areas under this red polygon that you're seeing from Fairdale back to the Toledo Bend area. We just got another strike. All right, 14 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. All right, so you want to make sure that you're staying in your safe place. Again, lots of lightning, even if you're just outside that polygon, especially on the east side across the state line in Louisiana. If I were you, I would go ahead and make sure that I was staying weather aware and in my safe place, because this does appear that it might be leaning ever so slightly to the east. All right, there we go. Now we have a good eye on it. Okay, this may be strengthening back up. Okay, where the green and the red are meeting. So you see that little green streak? That's from Fairdale, just stretching out toward the county line. And this area where we're seeing that little bright red dot that's just slightly more vibrant than the rest, that's where I'm starting to see the rotation. It may be trying to strengthen back up. So you want to make sure, again, that you are staying in your safe place. If you are in a vehicle, do your best to get to a sturdy structure as soon as possible. That's going to be the safest option for you. If that is not possible, you have a few options. You can either find a low-lying area like a ditch and something that's going to protect you from any debris that is flying around, and you can cover your head in a ditch and lie face down. That is one option if you are in a vehicle and you cannot get to a permanent sturdy structure. If you cannot find that, if that's not an option for you, you also have the option to stay in your vehicle with your seatbelt fastened. If you have a jacket, use that to cover your head. That way you can protect yourself from any extra flying debris. That's an option as well, but really the best thing that you can do is get to a sturdy structure. Same thing goes for folks who are living in mobile homes. You want to find a sturdy structure, that way you can keep yourself safe as this passes by. Now I am beginning to see this pick up just a little bit from what we were seeing, but it is passing through that gap in the radar, so we could just getting a better view of it just out to our west. Now again, that center of circulation, let's see if we can get toward the Hickory Ridge area. So if you live in Hickory Ridge, make sure that you are in your safe place. Same thing goes if you live along the county, or I should say the state line. Fairdale, that's you. Pinecone Lane, if you live along Pinecone Lane, make sure that you're in your safe place. Same thing goes toward McGee's Landing, Comfort Drive. You want to make sure that you are staying in your safe place. That tornado warned system is right over your area. We are seeing the center rotation begin to tighten up ever so slightly. I'm backing it up right now. You can see the time at the top of your screen. So you can see it begin to loosen, then it tightens right back up again. So you want to make sure that you are staying safe. This is likely going to pass over the lake. So if you are in a boat, or if you have any loved ones that are in a boat, make sure that they are getting out of the path and that they can get to a safe structure that's sturdy. That's going to be the best option for them. Again, you do not want to be on the lake as this passes you by. Not only do you have to worry about debris flying up from the tornado, but also very, very rough lake weather. Please make sure that you are staying safe out there. Alrighty, we do have a new tornado watch. Again, a watch means that it's likely, warning means that it's imminent. So the watch, that's for a lot of our Louisiana counties. That includes St. Augustine County, Sabine County here in Texas, Shelby County, as well as Nacogdoches County and Angelina County. Once again, that is the watch. So it is imminent, but not happening. The warning here, out towards Sabine County, just to the east of Fairdale, and that does stretch toward the Toledo Bend area and toward the Toledo Bend Reservoir. This is beginning to tighten back up. Okay, so make sure that you're in your safe place. Same thing goes for your kids and your pets. Take them with you. Elderly loved ones, they may need assistance getting to that safe place. If you are just joining us, you need to make sure you are going to the lowest level of the building. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. That tornado warning is currently active through 12:45. That's for everything that is under this red box. So make sure that you are staying safe. Now, what you saw on your screen, flipping between the red and the green, that's just because we're pulling off of a different radar site. That's nothing to worry about. We have seen a bit of a jump in lightning in this system in the past 15 minutes or so. So this may be picking up just a little bit. But again, you want to make sure you're staying safe. Our hail tracker has been picking up on hail around the size of marbles, maybe pocket change. The National Weather Service saying that it could get even larger than that. So even if you aren't directly in the path of the circulation, you want to stay inside and of course stay in your safe place. Respect the polygon. If you are staying in your safe place, that is the best option for you. That way you can stay safe. safe. Now, it's not just there that we're tracking some rain and wind, as well as some potential for some strong storms. Now, again, the tornado warning active all the way through 12:45 for areas in Sabine County. That's to the east of Hemp Hill. I am watching these storms, though, that are just out toward the Beaumont area, out toward Spurger, and even out toward Nome and Port Arthur. We're seeing lots of lightning, and just given the way that these cells are tracking, you can see how fast they're moving and the way that they're bubbling up there. There's a chance that we could see these begin to strengthen up and potentially spin if they move into the right environment. And really, there has been just a lot of storm energy that's been building through the day that's coming off of the heat of the day. So that's where a lot of this is coming from. It is a little bit early. Usually we see storms like this closer to the afternoon as we get a bit more warmth in here, but still that's not going to make this any weaker. So make sure that you are staying cautious and, of course, in your safe place. Let me turn our Titan trackers off, that way you can get a better view of it. Okay, that center of circulation is, looks like it's right on the state line at the moment. We're getting a not great view of it just due to the location that it is with regard to the radar. So it's hard to get a good view. But it is near Toro, near the state line, where you're seeing that red and that green just kind of meet to the northeast of Fairdale. This is heading toward Clare. It does appear to be shifting ever so slightly to the east. Now, I'm going to back it up for you so we can get a view of just what we're looking at here. So what you're looking at is the red and the green. Where that meets, that's what I want you to keep an eye on. I'm going to walk you through it here. This has been moving up to the north. It did appear that it tightened up just a little bit, but it's veering off course from where that tornado warning is in effect. Now, it may get pushed back out to the west there, but still, you want to stay in your safe place until this tornado warning either expires or is canceled. There are about 11 minutes, or I should say, around 10 minutes left on that. So stay in your safe place for the next 10 minutes. Then you can go ahead and do whatever else you need to do for the day. But please make sure that you are staying safe. Winds could get us up to 70, or I should say 60 miles per hour. So not only are you dealing with the potential for some debris getting lofted and thrown around, there is a chance that you could see some shingles off of your roof get damaged as well, and some downed power lines. So even after the storm passes you by, even if this ended up being gusty winds, which I don't think it is, I think that this is likely something that is going to touch down or has already touched down. You want to stay careful after the system passes you by, because there could be debris. Any downed power lines, always treat it like a live wire. That's a very dangerous thing. You get shocked with the whole strength of that power line. So give it plenty of space and go ahead and report it to the local authorities. That is going to be the best option to keep you and yourself safe. Alrighty, now we're looking back. Now you just saw it switch there from red to green. That's just because we're pulling off of a different radar site. So again, the red and the green, that's where we're starting to see the center of rotation. So just to the east of Fairdale, this area where we're seeing the green, that's going toward the radar site, red away from the radar site. So you can see this is counterclockwise rotation. You want to make sure that you are staying safe and staying weather aware as this continues to pass you by. All right, I am not seeing any more updates from the National Weather Service. But again, that tornado warning is active for the next less than 10 minutes now. So go ahead and stay in your safe place. We're going to stay on with you all the while that tornado warning is active, and then we'll return you to regular programming once that is done. Once again, we're live on CBS19 as well as CBS19 Plus. So, we just got a second tornado warning. Let me see. This one is for still parts of Sabine County, but they ended up shifting it. So, hey, Denise, can you take this full screen for me real fast? So what we were seeing, the tornado warning, this is the previous one. It was going up to the north, but this center of rotation beginning to veer off to the east into Louisiana. It's likely getting caught up in some winds there. So they shifted the second tornado warning. Rather than having it continue up on this northwest trajectory, it is moving just out to the east. Once again, this center of rotation right near the state line, heading out toward Clare and up to the northeast. Now that tornado warning is active for a little bit longer for the areas just out to our east. It looks like we're going to track on that we can give you a timeline as this moves into Louisiana. Out toward Des, that's closer to around 1:30 that was popping up. It's moving between 15 to 20 miles per hour, so it's slowed down a little bit as it begins to veer off to the right. This is active for the next, I believe this was until 12:45. This tornado warning, the one to the west, is set to expire at 12:45, so you have 5 minutes left on that. You can find your city up here to the northwest. Now, a lot of these are in Louisiana because this is beginning to tighten up and move up to the northeast. But if you have loved ones there, make sure that you give them a call, give them a text. That way they're staying safe. Out toward Clare, a little bit after 1 o'clock, and out toward Esto, closer to 1:30. All right, that secondary tornado warning, that is active all the way through 1:15. So if you live near that state line, make sure that you are staying safe. You have loved ones, go ahead and give them a call or a text. This tornado warning out here that is in effect for a larger portion of Sabine County, I have a feeling they're going to let that expire because we're seeing the rotation veer off to the right. So it's beginning to cross the state line right now. Where you're seeing this red and this green, that's where we're getting that rotation. So counterclockwise rotation there. I'm seeing some really gusty winds at this area just to the west of Toro, and that's where it's going directly toward the radar site. We've been seeing this begin to tighten up and loosen and tighten up and loosen. So a pretty active storm there. Can we switch over to our hail tracker? Now, we've been tracking hail from our radar estimates, the size of marbles to pocket change. Sometimes our radar just takes a second to load in. Looks like it's right over the lake there. Yeah, there it is. So this is putting our hail tracker right around the size of marbles. You want to make sure that you're staying inside. This is crossing over the lake, so that'll give you a second. Right now, it's a water spout if it is officially touching down, and it has its sights set on areas at Toro. It's continuing up to the northeast there. Now, our chief meteorologist, Brett Anthony, just arrived, and he's been driving radar here for us. I'm going to toss things. Oh, look at that. There's hail just out to the south. This is building. This is putting us closer to maybe nickels, quarters, maybe even a little bit larger than that. That's all on its way up to the north. So continue to make sure that you are staying safe and weather aware and in your safe place. Once again, that tornado warning, the one to the west, all the way through 12:45, and then the one out to the east lasting through 1:15. If there is a tornado warning in Sabine County, we will stay on with you as that's something that we are required to do. And of course, we want to make sure that you are safe. We're putting East Texas first. But of course, I'm going to throw things back over to our chief meteorologist, Brett Anthony. Do you have any updates for us, Brett?
Hi, Sarah. I'll just give you a breather. Nice job. Yeah, we continue to. I put the hail track on there so you can see how the hailstones were larger and the hail cores have come down currently. So right now, with the hail cores currently sitting over the southern end of Toledo Bend. A lot of folks out there, of course, you know, a lot of people camp, a lot of people fish in that area. This is going to be east of Fairdale. That's drifting over to the Louisiana side. So if we add back in the radar images, and this again is our velocity, it looks like it has crossed over into Louisiana. There's always a chance, you know, on tornado paths, they're not exactly in a direct line, so they can move back and forth. So there is a chance that it would wobble back into Sabine County. That's why you have that severe or tornado warning for Sabine County going until 1:15, just right down the state line. So as Sarah pointed out, I would imagine here in the next minute and a half, we're going to see that other tornado warning for Sabine County dropped at 12:45. I can't imagine the way the circulations are right now that the Weather Service wouldn't shave off the western end of that tornado warning. That's extreme eastern parts of Sabine County, even north of Fairdale right now, but it's on the Toledo Bend, and I think that's kind of a big recreation area. One of the reasons sometimes the warnings will be issued. I haven't seen any reports of anybody from anyone. In fact, now the Weather Service is saying sometimes the little bit of hail has given them some what they call side lobe contamination, so that it looked like there might be a hook echo, and it may have just been the radar beam bouncing off of larger hailstones and then giving them sort of a what we call an artifact or just a false reading. So they may, I'm just kind of glancing at this real fast, they may go ahead and drop this pretty soon. Let me go back to radar and I'll go back to reflectivity just to give us an idea of what we're looking at here. Yeah, that's a pretty large area of precipitation, not a real well-defined, I don't see a well-defined hook echo in that anymore. So It may just be kind of congealing back up into a larger thunderstorm. There was quite a bit of lightning with it earlier. Sometimes we can judge the strength of a storm off of the lightning. You can see in the last 15 minutes we've had quite a few strikes here on that cell alone. But again, that's moving over into the Louisiana side. Looks like now it's on the eastern end of Toledo Bend. So all of the western coves off of Toledo Bend, and even Sabine County, it's south and east of that, but it looks like that track is more northeastward. Sarah pointed out some other cells down here, and the reason that they did go ahead and issue a tornado watch is because we'll watch these other cells. They're going to look how fast they're just moving to the north. I did see a track on this earlier that said it was moving, that cell that was in Sabine County was moving at 75 miles an hour. That seemed a little fast. In fact, if it was moving that fast, it would already be into Louisiana. So sometimes radar just looks at a cell and estimates the algorithm inside it, the math inside it, can overestimate that just a little bit. And then some more analysis on the storm can tell you the actual movement and the speed. But yeah, that thing was rotating pretty good. Watch it here. If we take a look at the cell itself, as it rotates up into Louisiana, it's crossed, now it's almost crossed over into Louisiana. So we're probably going to go ahead and get off the air here and get back to regular programming now that that one tornado warning has been allowed to expire. In fact, I'm not seeing any other tornado warnings on the maps anymore, so they may have dropped both of those. Still have that tornado watch though. All right, yeah, so I think that'll do it. Looks like they've allowed both to expire or canceled those. I don't see the issues.
Brett, that other one is still in effect out across the state line. But
Okay.
it's moving into Louisiana at this point.
Yeah, okay. So we'll monitor it then, and we'll take a break and kind of reset everything. And if we have to come back on with another stream, of course, we'll do that on CBS 19 Plus and on our YouTube channel and here on CBS 19. Until then, we'll return you to regular programming. Thanks for watching. For meteorologist Sarah Blue, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Have a great afternoon.